Hey, so in case you haven't noticed yet, your phone is probably the source of a lot of your stress, anxiety, and feelings of worthlessness. But is that really your phone's fault? Or is it yours? Sorry, I'm kind of calling you out here, but it's not without my reasons, and I am also calling myself out. And before you try and tell me, oh, I didn't make the phone, I didn't make all these addicting apps, it's not my fault, just wait and watch till the end of the video. These app companies have spent billions of dollars to develop algorithms to keep you on their platforms for as long as possible. You know how sometimes you just habitually open up your phone even though you know you don't have to use it? You keep scrolling back and forth through the apps until you eventually just open one that you were just on? Yeah, that's those billions of dollars at work. Your phone is quite literally hijacking your brain, and to say that I'm not guilty of this would be an understatement. Just look at my phone usage the past few days. Although part of my job is social media, there's no way that I actually have to use my phone for as long as I am, and on days when I really go overboard, I experience some serious brain fog. The digital world is massively impacting your mental health, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I really wanted to make a video like this. Alright, let's talk a little bit more about the reasons as to why this is happening and how this is affecting all of us. First off, there's the feeling of FOMO, fear of missing out, and the feelings of inadequacy due to social media. At many times, it feels like social media is just this huge competition of how can I make my life look as sweet as possible without actually depicting how my life looks at all. Snapchat stories of nights out, Instagram posts only when you're in a bikini or on vacation, and nothing but achievements and accomplishments make us feel like we're not accomplishing enough with our lives and that we should always be doing more. And that's another thing with social media, is it always makes you feel like you're behind in life. When I was a teenager, I remember the sinking feeling, this pit in my stomach that I would get when my friends were invited to something that I wasn't, or I wasn't able to take off work to go to the actual thing, and I'd open up my Instagram or Snapchat to the stories of the event taking place. It took me ages to get over that feeling, and I'm gonna reveal how to do that by the end of this video. Not only that, but also super important is we have the bombardment of news headlines, whether they're real or fake. It seems impossible to distinguish right from wrong, truth or falsity in today's digital age. Everybody has a different opinion on something. Everyone has different facts to present. It's like, who is reliable? Who should I be listening to? What is real? And you become caught in a bubble based on what you're consuming on social media and in the news. And pretty much the only thing that's presented in the news is drama and negativity, because as humans, that's what we love to hear about. That's what sells. You know what else sells? Our information and data. As many of you are already aware, many companies sell your data and information to other corporations, and this can lead to more unnecessary stress and anxiety just thinking about it. Because of the switch to remote working, shopping, and entertainment, cybercrime is on the rise, and now even digital security is affecting our mental health. I have had countless sleepless nights just thinking about how my main RuneScape account got hacked for the millions of gold that I had built up. That shit destroyed my mental health for a while. But with all of that being said, please do not blame your problems on your phone. That is what these companies and apps want you to do. They want you to say, there's nothing I can do about this, I'm too addicted to stop, so I guess I'll just keep letting it affect my life. If you follow my channel, you'll know that this victim mindset is not something that I stand for. We live in this weird time where everybody wants to blame something or somebody else as to why they can't do something. And I understand for some people they actually can't do much about their problems, but in the case of your phone, it is up to you to protect your digital mental well-being. So knowing all of this, what is the course of action? Turn off all of your notifications and put your phone on Do Not Disturb frequently. I really like what Tim Ferriss said on this topic when he said this.
We dramatically overestimate our own importance, and we dramatically overestimate the urgency and importance of anything on social media.
Unless you urgently need to use your phone or these social media apps for business-related reasons, missing a notification about someone messaging you or leaving a like on one of your posts is not going to be the end of the world. If you do decide to keep these social media apps on your phone, turning off notifications is the best way to mitigate your usage. I promise you, you're not missing anything important with notifications off. As a content creator that I am, I have notifications off for every single social media. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. If I, as a content creator, don't need notifications on for social media, then you definitely don't. Turning your phone on Do Not Disturb is also also a very easy solution when you just want to like dial in on your work for an allotted period of time. Speaking of dialing in on your work for an allotted period of time, the next thing that I suggest that you do is use some sort of lock me out app. I actually find this solution to be more useful than deleting the app itself, because if you do that, I know a lot of you people in the comments said that if you try doing that, you just end up re-downloading it shortly after, and I'm guilty of this too. But with lock me out apps, there's literally no way you can use them. Now, I've already went over this for Android in a couple of my videos. You just use the app, it's called Lock Me Out. And in that app, you can filter out the important apps that you might need to use in case of an emergency, like your messages or like your call app. Then you set an amount of time that you want to be locked out of all of these. But in those videos, I never went over one that is useful for iPhone users, and the majority of you are definitely iPhone users. And for that, I recommend the app called Forest. This is a super cool app that has pretty much all the same functionalities as Lock Me Out, but it's a little better of a UI, and it's cool to be looking at it and seeing that you're like actually growing a virtual tree. And so yeah, just turn that on every time you get tempted to overuse your phone or when you need to work on something. Those are just super easy solutions, and it makes it, like I said, impossible to get into those apps. Increasing the friction between yourself and the thing you're not trying to use is how you stop using these things that are affecting your digital mental well-being. If you're like me, then you also worry about your passwords and your security online, because the negative news sources talk about how much your data is being breached on these websites and how many leaks of passwords there are. That can cause a lot of digital stress. There's actually some crazy statistics related to password stress that I bet you aren't aware of. More than 30% of US and UK populations find resetting passwords as stressful as retiring, and 42% of the US population feel highly stressed when it comes to remembering a lot of passwords. And you shouldn't use the same password on every website. I'm certainly not trying to do that. My career would be over if there was some sort of data breach and my password got out and someone like messed with my accounts. That's stressful to think about. That's something that I don't want to worry about. So to remove all that stress that comes with getting hacked or sharing passwords or remembering passwords, I have the sponsor of today's video that I'm collaborating with today, which is NordPass. NordPass is a software where you can securely store all your passwords in one place and make sure that you never have to struggle to remember a password again. It also allows you to generate secure passwords that you don't have to remember, because those generated passwords, like those can be complicated, and it's not in your best interest to try to remember them or try to store them in an unsecure way. You can also check your password's health. NordPass will automatically check and scan all the passwords stored in your vault and check how vulnerable they are. Once the scan's complete, NordPass shows if your passwords are weak, older than 90 days, or used for several accounts. So if you're done with having password stress, you can download NordPass for free using the link in my description. The next thing I recommend, and a lot of you might actually disagree with me on this, is to stop watching all news, pretty much all news completely. I understand the importance of staying updated on the latest stories of what's going on around the world and wherever you live, but the amount in which we do that is not natural. I was actually with one of my friends the other day. We were driving somewhere and we were talking about what's going on in Palestine right now. And he said to me that, of course, it's important to be informed on this and do what you can about it, but what good is it gonna do you and your mental health to constantly search for this information or have this information pop up by watching all the news stories on it? We were not made to take in this much negative global information. You should especially never watch mainstream media sources, because they manipulate you through showing you whatever they would like you to be influenced by. And I don't think enough people understand how much that negatively impacts your mental health to always be consuming information that is bad about the world, and it also gives you the worst perspective on what's going on in the world because it is programming you. It's called regularly scheduled programming for a reason. Don't call me a freaking hippie because of this. These are facts. And the fact of the matter is, there's also so many incredible things going on in the world, but that will never be highlighted on the news because they don't want to show that to you, because then you might start actually feeling good about yourself. I feel like a lot of people get their news from Twitter, and on Twitter you can actually like mute words or filter out words that you don't want to see on the app. And that makes me realize something about just like filtering out things. You need to ask yourself this question on every social media platform that you're using. I want you to take a good hard look at the people you're following and that you're subscribed to and ask yourself, are these people, are these brands actually positively benefiting to my life? Or when I look at this person or this brand, do I feel worse about the world and myself after having viewed this content? If it's the latter, then unfollow them, unsubscribe from them. You might be thinking this is like choosing to be ignorant on important issues that are affecting a lot of people negatively around the world. And I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting to stay informed, but to not over-consume to the point where you're like, wow, the world sucks right now. Perspective really is everything. All right, you've stuck around until pretty much the end of this video. I said that I would go over the mindset shift that allowed me to get over FOMO and just seeing all these things, all these cool things that people are doing on social media and finally not feeling like I'm left out of everything. And basically it's just to understand that, look, it's like these people have to put these amazing moments on social media. Now, when I look at it, it's like it almost feels forced, like they need to project some sort of persona of themselves that is this happy, fun, my life is going great type of person. But the people that do that the most, that put the highlights up the most, at least the ones that aren't content creators, that aren't doing it for content, are usually the ones that are most miserable. It might not be the case for everybody, but from what I've seen, it feels like the people that feel like they're lacking the most in life are the ones that feel most obligated to always post on their stories and their Snapchats. No matter what age that you are not behind in life. Life is this very long marathon that everyone is going to take at a different pace. I could be comparing myself to 16-year-old TikTokers like I've talked about already, who are making millions of dollars just off of dancing like this all day. That was actually a terrible TikTok rendition. And no one really has it figured out like you think they do based on their social media profiles or stories. FOMO is the enemy of valuing your own time. The fear of missing out makes you miss out on everything. Focus on what you're doing, what you can control, your work, whatever you're trying to do, and realize that you're exactly where you need to be, and that's not on someone else's story. Big thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. This is a platform where I'm putting out exclusive videos, blog posts, and podcasts you can't find anywhere else. If you want to check that out, the link is in the description. I really hope that all of you who are struggling with your digital mental well-being do some of the things that I've outlined here. Take care of your mental health and how much overconsumption and information overload is impacting your life. And as always, thank you so much for watching till the end. It helps out my channel tremendously. It's all that I ask of you guys. So that's it. I'm heading out. Have a good rest of your day or night.